Hey everyone, I want to talk today about the importance of reading. I can't emphasize enough how important reading is for your success. The number one thing for reading for you and within our relationship is it's going to expose you to the things that I'm going to be teaching you again so that deeper learning occurs. So you hear it from me, you read it in the book, and pretty soon that concept becomes and something you understand. You'll have those aha moments. And really a lot of times, I know for me, it takes a few times. If I read a book a second time or I see a concept a second time repeated by a different author, that's when it sinks in. So that's an important point, important thing that we need to get into your life to help you to really learn, because my goal is to help you learn so that you apply these things, not just get exposed to them. It's a good idea you never implement in your life. Obviously, that's important. The second thing with reading is you'll be getting additional role models in your life. And remember in my book, the power of a role model is that they help you to change automatically, because when you read about someone that you want to be like, you tend to automatically want to do what they do. And it helps you to see and think that, gosh, if they can do it, I can do it too. And that's the power of role models. And through reading, we can get role models into our life. Reading also takes your mind off the small stuff. Have you ever been laying in bed at night and you're thinking about things that at that time seem really important to you, like the color of paint you purchased and whether that's going to really match in the bedroom or not, or what you're going to say at the meeting tomorrow, and you can't fall asleep. All these little things that consume our mind, especially at night when we're trying to fall asleep and we're going through the day, and it becomes something that, a lot of scientists say that the things you think about prior to falling asleep are the things that we feed to the subconscious. Well, if you want your subconscious mulling over all of your problems all night long, well then go to bed thinking about all your problems. If you want your subconscious to be mulling over things that you really want to adopt into your life, for a better life, then expose your brain and your thinking to that prior to going to bed. It makes sense to me. I think other than that as well is when you read something and you're learning something and you're interested in what you're reading, it takes your mind off of all that little garbage stuff that doesn't matter, and you feel better. Especially when you're learning something. The human brain is designed to learn. And you can prove this to yourself by thinking about the last time you figured something out, or you learned something, you had an aha moment, and it made you feel what? It made you feel good. More specifically, it made you feel good because you felt hopeful that you're going to be able to improve in this area or be successful in this area because you learned something. So learning makes you feel good, and when you're reading and you're learning and you feel good and you go to bed in that state, it makes for better sleep and it makes for better learning. So a key element for you is to get in the habit of reading a few pages every single night. Now imagine this. Imagine if you started reading a few pages every night on parenting books. And let's say you got through one book every 2 or 3 months. So you took your time. You didn't rush it, didn't force yourself, didn't become some big burden. You just enjoyed reading a few pages per night, and you ended up reading a book every 2 or 3 months. That would be 4 to 6 books a year. In a year, you'd be a mini expert on parenting. And in 3 years, you'd be an outright expert on parenting. And can you imagine how you would feel knowing that you're doing the right things for your kids? Can you imagine how it would feel to start having your friends and family ask you, like, what do I do when my 3-year-old is doing this or doing that? Or what do I do when my teenager comes home and they want this or they want that, or they're whatever. Can you imagine having the capacity to be able to help people in that regard? And just through just reading at night a few pages. So the power of reading in a person's life is tremendous, but so few of us do it. And if we do read, we read for entertainment purposes because we're so busy and our brain wants that pleasure through entertainment, so we end up reading, People magazine or something entertaining that isn't really on my top 4 list for the most important things in our life. I like to get my books on Amazon. Very simple place where I can go and get used books for cheap, for like $2 plus $4 in shipping. I can get a book, and I don't have the Kindle yet or anything. I still like the actual paper books that I can highlight and look through and reference again. So, of course, you can get books at the library, but I like to buy my books because they're only $5-6, and I can reference back to them, and I always learn more the second time I read that book, so I make sure that I read through them at least a couple times. And of course, being a teacher, I reference back to them and use them in what I'm teaching you. So I included in the PDF in this email a couple screenshots from Amazon, just to, if you've never been there before. It's really quite simple. You just type in the book title, it's going to bring up that book to you. You can click on either the used or the new. If you click on the used, it'll show you a bunch of used book options and prices and where they come from, and the condition of the books. You can just add it to your cart and then go to checkout, and if you're not if you haven't bought anything there yet, it'll have you, fill out your information, your name and address and all that good stuff, put in your credit card. And in a few days, you have a book in your mailbox. And for me, it's like Christmas when I get a book in the mailbox. It's very exciting. I got my book. And I think you'll feel the same way. So the first assignment for you for reading is this book right here. The book title is You Can Be Happy No Matter What by Rachel Carlson, PhD. An excellent, excellent book on understanding our moods, understanding our thinking, and understanding concepts of how we think and why our thinking is naturally going to be different between people. An excellent book on helping yourself understand your thinking. And when you understand your thinking, of course, you can better control it. You can better be forgiving to those thoughts and understand what to do when you're in a mood. For example, he talks about how when we get in a funky, bad mood, our brain sees that as a danger signal, and we're always trying to fix things or solve problems when we're in a bad mood. But when we're in a bad mood, we're at our least resourceful state, meaning we tend to get myopic in our focus. We get real tunnel vision, and we don't think about the whole picture. We end up making the biggest mistakes when we try to fix things when we're in a bad mood. For example, classic example, husband and wife fighting. Something happens where they're upset, and they try to fix that upset at that moment. Well, when you're in that moment of emotion, you're more upset about what they said and how could they say that to me, and you just can't fix things then. You can come back and fix it later when that mood is gone. So just one of many, many things in this book, an excellent book to start off with that I'd like you to get, to buy, and start reading. This is Dave Erickson, Live by Choice.